Did you know that 83% of online shoppers say that product images are the deciding factor on them making a purchase? That's right, not the price, not the reviews, but the photos you use can make or break your e-commerce success. What's going on, guys? John Aspinall here, brand evangelist at PickFu. And if you're not familiar with PickFu, we're an online testing platform that lets you get instant feedback on your product ideas, images, listings, and so much more. And not just that, but from real consumers that match your target audience. In just minutes, you can make data-driven decisions that totally remove any guesswork. No longer relying on feelings or opinions or instinct. Actual data. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how top brands are testing and optimizing their images to drastically increase their clicks and conversions on platforms such as Amazon, Walmart, Target, and even their own websites. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal why having great photos are essential to success on these platforms. Share proven photography tips that drive sales for your images. And most importantly, show you how to test all this to maximize all of those clicks and conversions. Let's go ahead and dive in. Why product photos matter. Let's start with the obvious question. Why should you care about your product photos? Take a look at this example here. We're looking at a couch merchandised in two different ways. So on the left, we see just the couch by itself, but on the right, we're seeing the couch in the environment that someone would typically use and have the couch in. And you can see right here, every single person in the poll opted for the option that shows the product in the actual environment. It's super clear that showing the product by itself does not cut it with consumers, and they need to see the product merchandised and positioned really well. Here's another example of a hat and scarf combo. When asking Prime members here, the overwhelming majority went with the one on the real model, because having a photo over here on a mannequin with a not really well merchandised background didn't do it for the majority of shoppers. So it's clear again, you can see investing in quality photos and then testing is paramount for success in e-commerce. One last one to take a look at. We have this here. It's a toilet bowl, but you could see, you really wouldn't know it's a toilet bowl from just having it floating over here until you actually see it in the actual environment where someone would be using it. And overwhelmingly, the majority of people went with something like this. Section 2, types of product images and best practices. Now, let's look at key types of product images that you need and the best practices that top sellers follow. When it comes to Amazon, your hero image is everything. Your hero image or your main image is the one customers are going to see and choose to select to find out more information to see if they want to purchase it. Testing for your main hero image is important to stand out from the competition. Once they click on your listing, now we're introduced to the image stack, where you have all of your secondary images down here, which are your infographics, your lifestyle images, your before and afters, all the images that you need to tell the story as to why they should purchase your product. But just having great images is one part of the equation. You also want to find out which image is most compelling so you can place them in the proper order so that people see the most pertinent and important information first on their way down through the entire cycle of your photos. Here we have an example of a brand testing their image stack in a ranked poll to see which is the most important and in what order of importance they should be having their photos. So you can see here, it's not just finding out who the winner is, but which one ended up in which place. So you can see here, this was pretty important to some folks, but this one really not important to anyone. This could be removed or optimized from the image stack. And when you head down here to the results and the responses, they're giving the reason as to why they like this. I like the look of the bag and the balls. I like A the best because it's informative and a nice design. I don't need to see a human model for static balls. I like A because the bag is cute. So all of this information is important for optimizing for your images. Here's another one showcasing a keychain torch and ranking them in order of importance. So for something like this, you can see that the beam of the light is very, very important because that came out as top. And then also followed behind an infographic showcasing all the features about the product and what makes it so special. You could see from this that the image over here with everything thrown together and sort of a promotion wasn't too compelling for folks. And that's even more evident when you go down to actually see the meaningful responses. Providing the most product specs, have the light on, explanation of features, all good things you need to know. Section 3, why test your product images? Now that you understand what makes great photos, let's talk about why you absolutely need to be testing them. When you're selling your product on Amazon, you're not on your own website. You are on a marketplace. You are next to a lot of other brands and a lot of other folks selling a similar item, if not almost sometimes the same item that you're selling as well. So when we come down to the search engine result page on Amazon, your hero image is probably your most important image because that's what's going to get you the click. So you can see over here, what is important? Do people like to see the pink one and then other color options? Do they like to see the gray one and then swatches like this? Do they like to just see the black one? Are people interested in the retractable one more so than this one? So from your hero image standpoint, it's critical to test because you won't know until you either are crushing it in sales or not making enough sales to understand what's going on. Why is this happening? So testing from this standpoint from the hero image is really, really important. And then when you get into the actual product detail page itself, the images down here in the image stack are just as important for conversion. What are we showing here? We're showcasing the leash on this kind of dog over here in different use cases, different specifications, different, features or details about the product. But is this telling us exactly what we need to know? Or is it missing certain things? Or are we not presenting it in the right way for the customer? So you can see here, we're showing a dog here, almost the same kind of looking dog, brown dog over here, but we're not showing a small dog. Is this applicable for small dogs? And if it is, well, we're not including those in there. So that could also hurt the conversion. Compared to another listing like this, where we're showing different types of dogs, but it's clear on this one, it's for medium and large dogs. So they're not going to show a small dog per se, but interesting, it does say small dog over here, but we show medium and large dog over here. Always make sure that we're showing the right images because that's going to make or break your conversion. And down into your product description where you have your A+ content, this is where you have more room to show a little bit more about your brand and the product. Are we showing the right images here? We're showing lifestyle images, which is great, but are we showing enough technical aspects? Are we showing too small of an image here that it's truncated and kind of segmented out? Are we showing a happy dog? So this is in your A+ content, again, as part of the image stack, and then down here into the A+, all affecting your conversion. So you may be designing in a vacuum where you're looking at this and saying to yourself, oh, this makes sense. But when compared to other people in the space or compared to other iterations of yourself, you're not going to know. So that's why it's super important to test these images. Section 4, how to test product photos. So how do you exactly test your photos? Let me show you how simple it is with PickFu. So when it comes to testing your hero image for CTR, you can test it in a couple of ways with PickFu. So you can run it as a head-to-head poll where it's your hero image versus a competitor's hero image, or you can test it as a ranked poll, which is your hero image or main image against multiple competitors. So in this example, and you can see how innovative PickFu is because right now it's set up as a head-to-head poll, which is this or this, so just two options. I'm going to grab 4, and it's automatically going to change it because it's so smart to know that it's a ranked poll because it's more than 2 options. So 4 options here for deodorant. So I want to see from a main image CTR perspective, which are they likely to click on and why? Which main image is the most compelling for folks when they're shopping for deodorant? Now remember, if we just have one competitor that we want to compare against our main images, then I would just remove these 2 other options. And now we're comparing this as a head-to-head against these over here. But if you have different iterations of yourself, you can then compare it against yourself. So there's many, many ways to test your main hero image on PickFu. Let me show you one more that's really cool as well. I could go right to Amazon on the search engine result page, and I can take a screenshot of the search engine result page itself and use that in PickFu with a SERP click test. So we're back in PickFu over here. I'm going to grab my screenshot of the search engine result page. It's similar to how we did the ranked poll before with the different hero images and the different options, but this one's great because it's going to give additional context as to not only the hero image, but the placement, the price, why they're clicking, which also leads into the importance of the main hero image. So this one's open-ended right now. I'm going to change this to a click test, and then people are going to click directly on this and give us that information and feedback. Just to give you a quick example, this is what the results look like when you run a click test on PickFu. So all these little dots are going to come up here and you're going to see exactly where people are clicking, why they're clicking there, if they're clicking on the price, the packaging, if they're clicking on the title. Gives a lot of good insights to why they're clicking on your image and if it's compelling enough. Another great way to test your images on PickFu is outside of the main hero image. When we go into your image stack, we have our image stack images over here. How do you know if these are the right images? Well, we want to test these in a ranked poll on PickFu. They're going to be able to put them in order of importance, which they prefer, which doesn't resonate with them. them. Really, really great stuff. Let me show you how to do that. So I went ahead and grabbed my images for this one. Like I said, you don't have to be on the proper poll. PickFu is smart enough to know that you need to be where you need to be, but we're here on the ranked poll right here. I'm going to grab my 7 images from the stack, drop them in here, and you can see right away it's loading those images right here. So now we're able to go and run a ranked poll against these images specifically to our audience, Prime members shopping on Amazon. Perhaps they make a certain amount of income, perhaps they are a certain hobby or a certain career or anything like that, or recently purchased in a category, and we're able to run and see which they prefer and why. Here's a cool example of a ranked poll. What it's going to do is it's going to show you the preference. So you can see that here option D is the winner, but who got the least amount of selections and is not really the winner? Well, that's this one over here. You're able to use the ranked poll to understand which image people are drawn to the most, but also which image is overall going to help and aid in the sale of the product. Very, very powerful. Another great way to test your images is going back to the head-to-head poll, but in this instance, what we're going to do is give an entire context to the images, being the hero image, the A+ content, the image stack, all that kind of stuff, and test images against each other for the conversion factor. Which listing against our competitors or maybe another product that we have are leading to a conversion and resonating with the customers the most? Let me show you how that works. So let's say in this example, we have Degree deodorant. So we have 2 different listings here. They're both our listing, but this is Men's Degree for Advanced, and this is just Men's Degree. What we want to know is on each of the listings, which has the best images and why. So when we go to this one, we have new look, how to use, but when we go to this one, we have a little bit different imagery over here. Now, we might want to update our images on the one that's not performing, but we want to know which images are the best performing ones to update our listing. Let me show you how to do that. So what I did was I grabbed both URLs for both of those Degree products over here, and I dropped them inside the head-to-head poll. Remember, it doesn't have to be an image or a file or type. It could also be text or URL. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this and ask, based on these 2 listings, which has the most compelling images that would lead you to the purchase and why. So we get a better understanding of our own brand, how to make our images better between 2 different listings. This is really important to do against yourself, but also against competition for conversion. And you can see an example over here of what that looks like. They're getting the URL and they're able to decide on that and then give the qualitative, quantitative feedback responses, all that good information you need to make actionable decisions on your images. So there you have it. A complete end-to-end guide on optimizing and testing your product photos. But not just testing to test them for maximum sales. Remember, in the world of e-com, your images are your product. Taking the time to not only have great product photos, but testing them to ensure performance is going to give you leaps and bounds of an advantage over the competition. PickFu makes this testing process quick, easy, and affordable for sellers of any size. Whether you're selling on Amazon, Walmart, Target, or your own website, you can use PickFu to make data-driven decisions about your product images and take out all that guesswork. Sign up for a free PickFu account today at pickfu.com to start testing your images now. Go ahead and test them now. I'm going to go ahead and put all the links for all the poll types and templates that I used and showed in this video today. And here's to creating product images that truly convert. Thanks for watching.